Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going deep on artificial intelligence and how it's changing the future of safety and security.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
You shared some really interesting reports, actually, about AI fighting cyber attacks and helping out in disaster zones and even protecting our homes.
Yeah, I mean, what really stood out to me is just how much potential AI has. It's not just reacting to threats anymore. It's predicting and preventing them.
Right. It's a whole different ballgame.
And the scale of it is mind-blowing. AI monitoring entire cities or even like global networks all at once.
It's crazy. Processing information, like you said, at speeds and in volumes that, well, humans can even come close to.
No way.
So, let's start with cybersecurity, an area that honestly sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is, right? I mean, what used to be fiction is now reality. Take malware, for example. The old school antivirus software, it relied on recognizing threats that it already knew about.
Right, it's always playing catch-up.
Exactly. But AI can actually analyze the code, predict how the malware might change, and even find those weak spots before they get exploited.
So it's not just defense, it's like being one step ahead of the bad guys.
Exactly.
But that kind of makes you think, couldn't this same tech be used for bad stuff too? Like, could a hacker use this to make even stronger attacks?
That's definitely a real concern, something that cybersecurity people are really struggling with right now.
It's like that arms race.
Yeah, constantly pushing those boundaries of what's possible.
It sounds like a spy movie, but it's actually happening.
Totally.
Cybersecurity isn't the only place AI is having an impact. Let's move away from the digital world and talk about physical spaces, like places where lots of people gather.
Right.
How's AI changing security there?
So think about this. A system that can actually monitor how crowded a space is, how people are moving, even what's being said on social media.
Whoa.
All in real time.
To spot trouble before it starts.
Yeah. Like stampedes or fights or even something like a terrorist attack.
It's almost like a sixth sense, predicting and stopping risks that we couldn't possibly see on our own.
Totally.
But, doesn't that raise privacy concerns?
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge question. These systems have to be designed carefully, with really strong privacy protections built in.
Right.
We need clear rules about how that data is collected and used. People need to trust that their privacy is being respected.
Yeah, transparency is really key there, right?
Huge.
People need to understand how these things work, or they're not going to accept them.
Exactly.
But let's not forget about personal safety, the kind of protection that we carry with us wherever we go.
Right.
That's where those AI-powered wearables come in, right?
That's it. Imagine a smartwatch that can tell when your heart rate changes, or your breathing, or even how you walk. And then, not only can it warn you about health problems, but it can actually call for help if you're in danger.
Like a personal bodyguard.
Kind of, yeah.
But what about people who can't afford this kind of technology?
Yeah.
Does AI actually create a safety gap between those who have it and those who don't?
That's a real concern. We need to make sure these technologies are available to everyone, not just a select few.
Right, to everyone.
We have to address things like cost, making sure people understand how to use this technology, and of course, just basic access to it in the first place.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that technology, even if it's meant to help, can sometimes make existing inequalities even worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about natural disasters, things that can affect whole communities, even whole regions. How is AI changing the way we prepare for and respond to those?
This is where AI can really shine. Its predictive capabilities can help us use machine learning to look at past weather data, geological patterns, even what people are saying on social media.
Wow.
To predict how likely a natural disaster is and how bad it could be.
That could save so many lives.
Absolutely. And then we can improve those early warning systems, give people more time to get out of harm's way.
That's incredible. But predicting a disaster is only part of the battle, right?
Right.
What about after the disaster? It's often chaotic. You need to act fast.
Exactly. Well, AI can help to coordinate resources and make relief efforts much more effective. Just imagine an AI system that can analyze the damage to infrastructure in real time.
Wow.
It can track how many people have been displaced, see where things like food, water, and medical supplies are available, and then it can direct aid where it's needed most. prioritize rescues,
Yeah.
even help with things like logistics and communication.
So it's like a super efficient disaster relief manager working behind the scenes to connect those who need help with those who can provide it.
Precisely.
But even with all this amazing technology, can AI really replace human compassion in a disaster zone?
Well, nothing can replace the human element, especially when empathy and understanding are so important. But AI can definitely help. It can provide valuable insights and tools that can help responders make better decisions and ultimately save more lives.
So it's about combining human experience with what AI can do.
Exactly, finding that perfect balance.
That's really powerful. Now, let's talk about a place where safety is absolutely crucial, the workplace. We hear a lot about robots and automation changing how we work, but how is AI making workplaces safer for people?
Well, AI can be really good at preventing risks in the workplace. Imagine a system that watches how workers are behaving, spots potential hazards, and even gives real-time feedback and guidance to help prevent accidents.
That's amazing.
Think about places like construction sites, factories, hospitals, anywhere where safety is a major concern.
Yeah, but couldn't that same monitoring be used to, like, track worker productivity or even punish people who aren't performing well enough? Where's the line between safety and just being watched all the time?
That's such a good point, and it goes back to the whole ethical debate around AI. We have to make sure that these technologies are used to improve worker safety, not to control them.
Right.
Transparency is crucial here. Workers need to have a say, and we need very clear ethical guidelines.
It's a good reminder that technology is never neutral. It reflects the values of the people who create it and use it.
Absolutely.
We have to be very careful to make sure that those values are aligned with our goals of a safer and more just society. But for now, let's take a pause and we'll come back and explore more about how AI is changing the landscape of safety and security in our everyday lives.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about AI and making workplaces safer.
Yeah, lots of potential there.
But like we said, with any powerful tool, there are challenges too, right?
Definitely. I mean, AI can do amazing things like spotting risks and suggesting ways to prevent accidents.
Right.
But you also brought up the possibility of misuse. What if these systems are used not just for safety, but to keep workers under constant surveillance?
Yeah.
Tracking every little thing they do, even punishing them if they're not seen as efficient enough.
Right. That raises some serious questions about how much freedom workers have and what happens to their privacy.
Exactly. It's a very slippery slope.
It is. We need to make sure that AI is used to help workers, not to control them. Okay, but let's move on from individual workplaces and talk about the transportation systems that connect all of us. Everyone's talking about self-driving cars, but AI's impact on transportation goes way beyond that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about traffic, for example. AI can analyze how traffic is flowing in real time, and then it can adjust traffic signals, suggest different routes, even coordinate all those self-driving cars to make things more efficient and reduce all that congestion.
It's like having this intelligent traffic conductor.
Yeah.
But what happens when something unexpected happens, like an accident or a sudden storm? Can AI really handle those kinds of situations?
That's a great question. AI is great at predictable stuff, but those unexpected events, those can be tricky. That's why it's so important to have humans involved, to be able to step in when needed.
Right. So it's not about replacing human judgment completely, but more about having AI and humans working together.
Exactly. Each one kind of makes up for what the other one lacks.
Makes sense. But let's not forget about security and transportation. How can AI make our commutes safer, from a security perspective?
Well, imagine public transportation where AI is constantly watching the security cameras.
Okay.
It can spot suspicious behavior and alert the authorities immediately. It could even help stop crimes like pickpocketing or harassment by figuring out who might be doing it and then warning passengers or security guards.
That's a good thought. But again, what about privacy?
Yeah.
Are people going to be okay with the idea of being watched all the time, even if it's supposed to be for their own safety?
That's a valid concern, absolutely. Privacy is crucial. These systems need to have strong safeguards built in, and the information they collect can only be used for legitimate security reasons. And it has to be transparent. People have to know how these systems work and what data is being collected.
Right. It's about finding that balance between safety and privacy. And that's going to take a lot of careful thought and open discussion.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move from public spaces to, our homes. That's where a lot of us feel most vulnerable.
Sure.
Smart home technology has really taken off, but how is AI changing home security?
Well, think about a home security system that can actually analyze the behavior of an intruder,
Oh, interesting.
not just detect that someone's there.
Okay.
So it can figure out if it's just a curious neighbor or someone who's actually dangerous.
And that helps prevent all those false alarms.
Exactly. And it also makes sure that the police are only called when it's absolutely necessary.
That would be a relief. I'm
Yeah.
so tired of my system going off every time a squirrel runs across my yard.
Yeah, those false alarms can be annoying.
But what about, could these systems be hacked? Could someone actually use this technology to break into our homes?
Well, security is always a concern. As technology gets better, the threats get better too. It's really important that these systems are built with strong security measures and that people take steps to protect their own networks and devices. Things like strong passwords, keeping your software up to date.
Right, basic cyber hygiene.
Exactly. And just being aware of what the vulnerabilities might be.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even with the best technology, things can go wrong if we're not careful.
Okay, we've talked a lot about AI's role in preventing and responding to threats.
We have.
But what about using it to actually promote safety in a more proactive way, like in healthcare, for example?
Oh, healthcare is a perfect example. Imagine using AI to analyze patient data and predict potential health problems. That would allow for early intervention, preventative care.
It could totally change the way we think about healthcare. Instead of just reacting to illness, we could focus on preventing it in the first place.
That's a powerful idea. But what about people who can't afford this kind of technology? Or people who just don't trust AI to make decisions about their health?
Right.
Could this make existing healthcare inequalities even worse?
These are definitely valid concerns. It's essential that these technologies are developed and used in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few. We need to deal with issues of access, affordability, and trust. And it's important to remember that AI should be a tool to help human doctors make better decisions, not to replace them entirely.
Right. It's about finding the right balance, making sure technology is serving humanity.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get a little more specific about AI's role in healthcare safety. What about hospitals? How can AI make them safer?
Well, imagine a hospital where AI is constantly monitoring patients' vital signs, their medications, even how the equipment is performing. It can alert the medical staff to potential problems before they become emergencies. It could help prevent medical errors, reduce infections people get in the hospital, and potentially save a lot of lives.
It's like having a super-powered nurse watching over everything.
Yeah, always looking out for those potential dangers.
But what if AI makes a mistake? I mean, can we really trust machines with life or death decisions?
Well, no system is perfect, and AI is no different. It's important to remember that it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used well or it can be used badly. These systems need to be thoroughly tested, validated, and constantly monitored. And we always need to have human safeguards in place.
It all comes back to that idea that with great power comes great responsibility. We have to be excited about AI's potential, but also cautious. We need to recognize both its possibilities and its limitations. But for now, let's take a short break, gather our thoughts, and then we'll come back with some final reflections on this really fascinating topic.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From AI fighting off cyber attacks to predicting natural disasters and even, changing the face of healthcare.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
It really seems like AI has the potential to completely change how we think about safety in almost every part of our lives.
It really does. It's incredible to see how AI can, boost what humans can do, giving us these tools and insights that we couldn't have even imagined just a few years ago.
And yet, like we've been talking about, this technology also comes with some big challenges and, ethical questions.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the importance of privacy, being transparent, and the potential for misuse. It's clear that we can't just blindly embrace AI. We have to be cautious, too.
Definitely a balancing act, for sure. But I do believe that if we plan carefully, have open discussions, and are committed to developing AI ethically, then we can use this power for good. We can create a safer, more secure world for everyone.
I think so, too. It's a hopeful thought.
It is. But before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. What really stood out for you today? What questions came up? What new insights did you gain from this deep dive?
Yeah, what are you most excited about when it comes to AI and safety? And what are your biggest concerns? Because the future of AI is being shaped right now. It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Exactly. This isn't just about technology, it's about what we value, what we prioritize, and the kind of world we want to live in. AI is a powerful tool, but in the end, it's up to us how we use it.
I totally agree. So as you go about your day, think about the ways AI is already in your life and how that might change in the coming years. Ask those tough questions, challenge the assumptions, and be a part of shaping the future of this incredible technology.
I hope this deep dive has given you some things to think about, some fresh perspectives, maybe even a feeling that you can be a part of this change. Because remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone, it's being created now, and we all have a role to play.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this journey exploring AI and safety. We encourage you to keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep this important conversation going.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.